In recent headlines, an archaeological dig on Highway 30 turns up some interesting results, and the Mohawk Council's ILCC process became official this past week. All this on this week's Political Corner with Regan Jacobs-Stock.
Recently, there were some archaeological digs that had taken place. Could you tell me what was that about and what was found?
Sure. It's been since they started excavating in and around the Highway 30 expansion project. They contacted us through Ministry of Transport Quebec over a year ago saying that we'd like to perform digs, archaeological digs, to ensure that where we're going to put the footprint down, that it's not going to cover over, we hope to uncover any type of artifacts that would be there. So people from Kahnawake have been hired and contracted to work in conjunction with MTQ to ensure that the reports that we get are from them, from our people, as I reported. So recently, as we've been seeing progress reports over the past year or so, recently there were several other digs that were finished, and again, no findings were uncovered. So right now we're still waiting to see if there is anything within, again, what this footprint of the highway will cover. Right now it looks and indicates that there is nothing there.
But, you know, with regards to Highway 30, there's been, some resistance in the community. This has been said in the community a few times now that why would we trade land that was already ours? Why would we give up another inch of land in exchange for something that we actually already own? So what is your opinion on that?
Like I said, I don't believe we've given anything up. It's a piece of the negotiation puzzle that we're trying to put together. It's part of the strategy, and I believe that even though it is recognized completely from our perspective as part of our traditional territory, none of it outside of the boundary of Kahnawake Indian Reserve number 14, according to anyone else outside of the reserve, is considered Kahnawake. This now, with 400 acres being identified, another 300 or so to be identified elsewhere, and possibly, and more probable than not, more lands than that to be, again, once formally recognized as Kahnawake. There will be economic development opportunities, I believe, possible agricultural, as people have already shown an interest in, and it also, I think more importantly, shows our ability to take over some of the leases. There are actually 5 independent leases within those contiguous lands that we're talking about. So it is really about political strategy more than anything else.
Do you find yourself that there's been some resistance in the community in terms of the continuation of Highway 30?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not only within the community itself, but also within my community here at the MCK. There have been problems and issues with how the decision was made and why it was made and what the strategy behind it was and so on. But because it happened fairly quickly and it established that, and we did make the presumption that community would be looking at, really not even a presumption, but the actuality that community has already said we want more land, and to me that means identified as Kahnawake. Right now it's not, so that's the majority of the reason why it was taken as well. I've spoken to some people who are not happy with it, but again, as I've stated, it's my community as well. I'm not trying to deter this or defer it into something else. I want to ensure that whatever the outcome is the best for us, and that's the mandate that I carry right now.
At this point, is there little people can do to stop this project from going forward?
Well, I don't know about little. I mean, if people feel that strongly about it, I guess there are things that can be done. We received a letter recently from a group in the community asking that it be stopped, and it's been CC'd to everybody from the Prime Minister to the Haudenosaunee Confederacy Council, and I understand that. We haven't responded yet. I don't know if they received any other responses, and honestly I don't know who they speak on behalf of. I know the people who wrote it, but sure, I imagine if people feel that strongly that things can be done, to ensure that, or to at least voice their concern, on the continuation of this project.
Okay, moving on. Now, ILCC was launched this week. What can the community expect from here on out?
Well, in the past we've talked about mock sessions. There's been 3, very little input and participation from community. Now it's time to really get down to the issues. I think the first one will be either membership, justice in the community, one of the major hard-hitting issues that community is facing from day to day. And I think once these hearings, which is what the community needs to be in tune to, starts getting set up, we're hoping, and I mean everyone has an equal voice in this community, to show up to these hearings to find out what will be turned into law, what the community thinks, and the direction it'll take from there. So keep your eyes and ears tuned, and whether it's to this channel or others, as well as the Eastern Door and K103, to find out when the first hearing will be taking place. And it won't be a surprise, it won't be quick, it will be set up properly, and it will be to ensure that everyone in the community has an opportunity to voice their concern. And I think also it's important to say that a decision will not be made at a single hearing unless the community decides to do so.
Okay, thank you.